We are getting closer to another COVID-19 vaccine being in the mix right here in Ohio. The Johnson & Johnson one-shot vaccine is just days, if not hours, from emergency approval. And we know you have a lot of questions about the vaccine. And of course, from our 10 TV team of experts, Dr. Joseph Gastaldo from OhioHealth is here to talk with us and answer some of those questions. So thanks for being up bright and early with us, Dr. Gastaldo, and let's get right to the question of that emergency use for the J&J vaccine. How significant could this be in terms of creating more options for vaccination?
Oh, it's very significant. The J&J vaccine we know is a great vaccine. It prevents death 100% of the time in the trial, keeps people out of the hospital. So it is a great vaccine. This vaccine is likely to be authorized on Friday, hopefully, once the FDA goes through that. What's really different about this vaccine is it is a single dose vaccine, and more importantly, it doesn't have the same stringent cold requirements. This vaccine can be stored in a refrigerator, so it's really going to allow us to place the vaccine in different populations, people who perhaps can't come back for the second dose.
That's really exciting. Now, I wanted to have you talk about what's in the vaccine. You talked about this one being different. The Moderna and Pfizer vaccine, those have the messenger RNA. Can you talk about this J&J vaccine?
Yeah, so the J&J vaccine takes a common cold virus called an adenovirus. The virus is deactivated. It will not cause you to get the common cold. But other than that, it's very similar to the J&J, to the mRNA vaccines. Inside the cold virus is the genetic material, and it teaches your cell to make the spike protein. So it acts kind of like a Trojan horse, like an mRNA vaccine, where it teaches your cell to make the spike protein, and then you develop a really great immune response to it to protect your body in the event that you come across this contagious virus.
So many of our viewers have seen you in the public service announcements about the vaccine. You've gotten the vaccine both rounds. Can you talk about that second dose? Because we've heard from some people that you have some side effects after the second dose of the vaccine. Can you describe that experience for the viewers?
Yeah, so when you get the second dose, keep in mind it's an immune response. It's your body's way of really ramping up your antibodies and your T cells. It's an immune response. We see the immune response more so with the second dose compared with the first dose. The immune response, the biggest thing is pain at the injection site, followed by fatigue, a headache, muscle pain, and maybe a low-grade fever. People who develop those symptoms go away within 1 to 2 days, and not everybody has an immune response. We know people 65 and older don't have it as much as people 65 and younger. And there are even younger people who don't have any immune response. It doesn't mean you didn't get an immune response, but everybody's immune system is different.
All right, so we have a couple of viewer questions here. First, what if you got 2 doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine?
That's a great question. So Johnson & Johnson right now, what they're seeking authorization for is 1 dose. There is part of the study that's still going on that is looking at 2 doses. So it could be that as they get more information, they will recommend an optional booster. We don't know yet. But, getting a second dose of the J&J vaccine should not be done because it's not going to be authorized that way. But if a second dose is given, it would only have to be given once it gets authorized that way, if indeed the trial shows that's the way to do it.
All right, we have this other question. Does the vaccine have a record of causing irregular heartbeat? My mom, this person says, had it and was hospitalized a couple of days later because her AFib was out of control.
Yeah, so part of the immune response are things like a low-grade fever, nausea, and for people who have a weak heart, when you have a low-grade fever, when you have nausea, that could be enough to really cause atrial fibrillation. And again, that's something that we recognize, we could treat it, but in our country, we have had the mRNA vaccines be given to over 44 million people. There have really been serious safety signals, and the vaccine is very well tolerated.
All right, Dr. Joe Gastaldo, thank you so much. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us this morning. And friends, remember, you can get even more of your questions answered tonight at 7 o'clock in our special A Shot of Hope, the COVID-19 vaccine. That's right here on 10 TV.